Hello, beautiful ladies. Today I'm going to tell you when a man has just had sex with another woman. You'll notice this in his body, and trust me, once you know these signs, you'll see the truth in every movement he makes. Yes, every subtle touch, every shift in his energy, every tension in his body. His body doesn't lie, and it can reveal secrets he'll never speak out loud. So stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll know exactly what his body's trying to tell you. And it's hotter and more revealing than anything he could ever say. Ladies, let's be real. Men can talk a big game, but their bodies never lie. And when man has just had sex with another woman, there are subtle but unmistakable clues in his movements, gestures, and energy that give him away. Now let's talk about the first sign in his body. And ladies, this one is subtle but impossible to miss if you're paying attention. I'm talking about his energy and posture, the way he carries himself, moves around, and even sits or stands after he's just had sex with another woman. You see, a man's body tells the story his words never will, and this is where it gets fascinating. Normally, when a man is fully present with you, his energy is confident, relaxed, and magnetic. He moves with ease, stands tall, and his posture shows comfort, strength, and desire. But after he's been with someone else, there's a shift. It's never dramatic, but it's there if you know how to notice it. He may seem restless, fidgety, or slightly stiff. His shoulders may carry a tiny tension, as if he's unconsciously holding something back. Maybe he shifts from foot to foot, taps a finger, or adjusts his posture repeatedly. That fluid confidence you normally see, it's subtly off, replaced by a faint distraction, a restlessness that his body cannot hide. And here's the thing our bodies never forget. Even if he's smiling, joking, and trying to act charming, his posture and energy replay the moments he's just had. Somewhere else, there's a kind of invisible weight, a tension that lingers in his movements, a hint that part of his mind and body is elsewhere. You'll sense it in the way he sits down, the way he leans or stretches, even in the way he reaches for things. That slight tightness, that subtle hesitation, it's all a silent message. And the amazing thing is, your intuition will pick up on it instantly, even before your mind can process what's happening. It's not about accusing him, it's about noticing the difference, tuning into the subtle energy shifts, and trusting what your body feels. Once you start seeing these changes in his energy and posture, you'll realize how much his body communicates without a single word, and you'll understand the truth of what he's just experienced. Ladies, energy never lies, and this first sign is a powerful way to see what he's been through before he even opens his mouth. Now let's talk about the second sign in his body, and trust me, this one is impossible to miss if you're paying attention. I'm talking about his touch, the way a man reaches for you, holds you, or even brushes against your skin after he's just had sex with another woman. Ladies, the truth is, our bodies never lie, and his hands, his arms, the way he moves around you, it all tells a story. Normally, when a man is completely present with you, his touch is magnetic, warm, and instinctively electric. Every hug, every brush of the hand, every little stroke is natural, confident, and full of desire. You can feel it in the way he lingers, in the way he wraps you close, in the subtle rhythm of his movements. It all screams presence, intimacy, and attraction. But after he's been with another woman, everything subtly changes. His touch may carry hesitation, tension, or a distracted energy that's impossible to fake. He might linger too long in one spot, skip places he normally wouldn't. Or his hands might feel slightly stiff or awkward when they're on you. There's often a subconscious guard there. His body is trying to protect itself, trying to hide traces of intimacy that aren't with you. And here's the thing, this isn't something he can control. Even if he's smiling, laughing, acting charming, his hands betray him. They carry memory. They carry the echoes of what just happened. You might feel a coolness or a weird distance when he touches you, or notice that the natural fluidity and warmth in his hugs or caresses feels off. Maybe he overcompensates, trying to be overly deliberate, as if proving something to himself or you. Your intuition will feel it instantly, even if your mind wants to rationalize it away. That little shift in his touch, that tiny stiffness or awkwardness, is screaming a silent truth. It's his body telling you, without a single word, that he's just been somewhere else, and that experience is still lingering in him. The energy in his hands, the hesitancy, the difference in warmth, are all signs only a woman who is tuned in can truly notice. So Pay attention, because this is one of the most revealing things a man's body can show you. His hands will always speak louder than his lips, and once you start recognizing this, you'll never be fooled by charm or words again. Every touch becomes a clue, and every hug a silent message that reveals the truth he's trying to hide. Now let's talk about the third sign in his body. And ladies, this one is subtle, intimate, and incredibly revealing. I'm talking about scent and physical traces, those tiny, almost imperceptible details that most people overlook, but a woman who is paying attention can notice instantly. Our bodies carry memories of intimacy, and a man's body is no exception. After he's just had sex with another woman, there are small physical clues that leave a mark, whether it's a scent lingering on his skin, the faint trace of perfume or lotion, or even subtle changes in how his body feels when he's close to you. Think about it for a second. Our bodies are remarkable record keepers. Every touch, every embrace, every moment of intimacy leaves a tiny trace, a kind of imprint. And a man, whether he realizes it or not, carries these imprints with him. When he's next to you, there's almost always a subtle shift that your intuition can pick up on. Maybe you notice a smell that isn't his usual cologne, something floral, musky, sweet, or different in a way that instantly makes your mind alert. Or maybe it's not a smell at all, but a change in the way his skin feels when he hugs you, holds you, or brushes against you. There's a tension, a subtle unfamiliarity in his touch that doesn't quite match the warmth or flow you're used to. That's your body telling you something, important something his lips might never admit. And here's what makes it even more interesting. These traces are not intentional. He isn't trying to hide them. In fact, most men don't even notice them themselves. It's his body speaking without words, revealing the intimate moments he's experienced. That perfume, lotion, or subtle scent is like a fingerprint of recent intimacy, and your instincts can feel it immediately. Even the way he moves around you, how he adjusts his clothes, how he shifts his body weight, how he touches or avoids certain areas can carry the memory of someone else. These are the signs most women never get to see. But if you're tuned in, I'll feel it in the air, in the energy, and in the closeness of his presence. Sometimes it's almost imperceptible. Maybe he hugs you, but his embrace doesn't feel fully familiar. Maybe you sense a tension in his arms, a hesitancy that wasn't there before. Maybe when he leans close, there's a subtle shift in the way he smells, or the way his skin brushes against yours feels slightly different. Your body knows these things instinctively, and your intuition will pick up on it, even if your mind tries to rationalize it away. That's why this third sign is so powerful. It's impossible to fake, impossible to control, and completely unconscious. Ladies, what's amazing about noticing these traces is that it gives you a window into the truth. It's like your body is reading a secret story that his words will never tell. When you start paying attention to the scent, the subtle physical changes, the way his skin, movement, or even the atmosphere around him feels different, you're not just observing, you're understanding. You're decoding the language of intimacy that he can't hide. So next time you're close to a man, tune into these signs. Notice the faintest scent that isn't usually there. Feel the subtle differences in touch or energy, and watch for the tiny physical imprints that reveal where he's been and what he's experienced. His body will always speak the truth, even if his lips are busy telling a different story. Trust yourself, trust your instincts, and remember these traces are your secret key to understanding the truth. And once you notice them, you'll never be fooled again. Now let's talk about the fourth sign in his body, and ladies, this one is subtle, emotional, and impossible to ignore if you're paying attention. I'm talking about his tone and emotional presence, the way he speaks. Laughs and responds after he's just had sex with another woman. Believe it or not, his words may not change much, but his energy behind the words will. His voice, his inflection, even the way he smiles or laughs, these are all clues that reveal what his body and mind are carrying. Think about it. Normally, when a man is fully present with you, his tone is warm, relaxed, and confident. He laughs naturally, teases playfully, and his voice has that magnetic quality that draws you in. But after he's been intimate with another woman, subtle shifts begin to appear. His voice may become slightly guarded, lighter, or even unusually playful, almost as if he's trying to distract himself from the tension he's carrying. Sometimes he overcompensates with humor, joking more than usual, trying to act like everything is perfectly normal, but here's the thing, your intuition will catch the difference instantly. There's a subtle disconnect between his words and the energy behind them. His mind is replaying moments that aren't with you, and it seeps into the way he talks, laughs, and interacts. Another thing to notice is emotional distance. He may seem charming, but you'll feel a kind of subtle detachment. He might avoid deeper conversations, change the subject quickly, or act slightly distracted. That's not an accident. His body and mind are processing experiences that aren't with you, and it shows in the little shifts of his tone, the timing of his responses, and the small ways he holds himself. Women who are tuned in can sense it immediately. You may notice a hesitancy when he speaks, a pause before answering, or a softness in his voice that wasn't there before. Even if he's smiling or joking, there's a tiny tension under the surface, a silent energy telling the truth about what just happened. And here's what's fascinating. This isn't something he's doing consciously. Most men don't even realize they're revealing it. His tone and emotional presence are unconscious signals, the language of his body trying to express what his lips cannot. You may even notice moments when he's overly expressive or dramatic in his reactions, almost as if he's trying too hard to convince himself and you that everything is normal. That's a classic sign that his energy is elsewhere, replaying intimacy that isn't with you. Ladies, the beauty of noticing this fourth sign is that it allows you to read between the words. You don't need to confront him immediately, and you don't need him to admit anything. His body will tell you the story all on its own. When you pay attention to the subtle changes in tone, the little hesitations, the shift in emotional presence, you start to see the truth that's hiding beneath his charm. You learn to decode the language energy, the silent communication that speaks louder than any words could. So next time you're with a man, listen not just to what he says, but how he says it. Notice the warmth or lack thereof in his voice, the small hesitations, the playful distractions, or even the sudden shifts in energy when a topic comes up. These tiny clues will reveal more than 1,000 conversations ever could. His tone and emotional presence are his unconscious truth. And once you learn to read it, you'll understand what's really happening in his body and his mind long before anything else is said. Now let's talk about the fifth and final sign in his body and ladies. This one is incredibly revealing if you know what to look for. I'm talking about tension and micro movements, those tiny, almost invisible gestures and shifts in his body that reveal what his mind is carrying. After a man has just had sex with another woman, these subtle cues are everywhere, and your intuition can pick up on them immediately. Think about it. Normally, when a man is completely present with you, his movements are fluid, relaxed, and confident. He reaches for things naturally, sits comfortably, leans in without overthinking, and even his small gestures, touching your hand, adjusting his shirt, or brushing against you, feel effortless. But after being with someone else, there's often a subtle, almost imperceptible tension that runs through his body. He may fidget, adjust his posture repeatedly, or shift from foot to foot more than usual. There's a kind of restlessness that's impossible to fake, and it's a silent signal of what he's been experiencing elsewhere. These micromovements are fascinating because they happen unconsciously. He doesn't mean to reveal anything, but his body can't hide the memories it carries. Maybe he scratches the back of his neck more often, runs a hand through his hair repeatedly, or shifts slightly when sitting down. Tiny gestures that seem random, but your intuition will notice immediately. It's like his body is replaying moments that aren't with you. And the tension shows in these little, almost nervous movements. Even the way he leans or tilts his head, the subtle crossing of his legs, or the way he touches his own face can be a clue. These microactions are his body's language, telling the story that his words try to hide. Another thing to watch is how he interacts with the space around him. He may pace slightly, adjust objects, or seem restless in his seat. His energy isn't anchored with you. Part of it is still elsewhere, replaying intimacy that isn't with you. This is why paying attention to the small things matters so much. While his charm and smile might be perfectly on point, these little movements are impossible to control. They're the body's truth leaking out in subtle ways, almost like secret signals only a tuned-in woman can read. And here's the thing, these micro movements often come with a subtle emotional undertone. You might notice a hesitancy in the way he reaches for your hand, a stiffness in his hug, or even a fleeting pause before he sits next to you. It's as if his body is saying, I'm here physically, but part of me isn't fully present. Women who notice these tiny cues can sense the truth before he ever speaks a word. This is what makes the fifth sign so powerful. It's almost impossible to fake, impossible to hide, and entirely subconscious. His tension and micro movements are the body's way of revealing what's really going on inside him. Ladies, the beauty of this final sign is that it ties everything together. Energy, posture, touch, scent, tone, they all lead to this, the unconscious. Tension and the micro movements that tell the whole story. Once you start noticing these shifts, you'll be able to read a man's truth like an open book. You'll see the restlessness, the hesitancy, and the subtle shifts that point to intimacy he's experienced elsewhere. And when you combine this with the other signs, the changes in his posture, touch, scent, and tone, you have a complete picture. So pay attention. Watch the tiny gestures, the subtle shifts, the restless energy. Your intuition will catch it before your mind even realizes it. And that awareness gives you incredible power. His body speaks louder than words. And once you can read it, you'll never be fooled by charm or smiles again. The tension and micro movements are his silent confession. And if you are listening closely, they tell the truth that no man can hide. Ladies, now you know the truth, his body never lies. Every shift in posture, every subtle touch, every trace of scent, every change in tone, and every tiny micro movement speaks louder than words ever could. When you pay attention to these signs, you're not just observing, you're decoding the truth, reading his mind, and understanding what he's really carrying. Trust your intuition, trust your senses, and never ignore the messages his body gives you. Remember, awareness is power. And the more you notice, the more in control you are of your heart and of your connection with him.